week. Today marks 1 week
It's
since
your
the Golden Gate
boy
Estates
Triple
fire
B L A
sparked. More
C
than
K, man.
8,000 acres have
Hey, I'm
burned. Right now, it's
back
75%
to
contained.
bounce back,
Trustwink News,
man.
Southwest Florida's news
Anyways,
leader.
man, I woke up this morning feeling extra good, man.
Hey guys,
You know what
Blake
I'm
Uso
saying?
Jr. right here for
Uh,
Silicate Cape Coral
the thing about it is, man, it's like
Caroline.
you gotta
Oh my.
you gotta
And so
always
much more we've
be
got right now.
on
So
a
much
mission.
more. What do you mean so much
You
more?
always got to be on a mission. You always got to have goals. I know it can be kind of tedious, but without goals in life, without a mission, without a purpose and stuff like that, a lot of times you find yourself lost. You know, you find yourself lost. Like they say, it's a true statement, and I don't mind. It's the devil's playground. I don't mind as a devil's playground because when you don't have in life, man, it's easy to get bogged down. Man, you start thinking about stuff that doesn't even matter. You know, you start really rationalizing, change, things that you can't change. And when you find yourself in that particular realm, man, it's hard to get up out of it, man. You know, there's certain things that are out of your control. What I'm going through right now, it's like it's a when I look back at this thing every day I wake up and I'm thinking about the whatever, man. Tomorrow will mark 1 whole year. I've been pretty much separated from my wife and my kid. 1 year, and I'm not complaining about it, but over that year, man, I've learned a lot. I learned a lot. I learned about a lot about myself. And the thing is like now I'm more responsive to what I've learned, and it's easier to make changes. I'm still a work in progress, but you know, the strength that I've built, over the last year mentally is remarkable. I think it's remarkable because there was a period of time to where the slightest thing will catch me off my mark. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still not perfect on it. I'm still working on it, but I'm slightly more aware of phone calls. I need to put it on do not disturb. But anyways, man, make sure you guys like this this stream. Shout out to Soul Traveler. We did a stream probably like a week and a half ago. It was a good stream, man. We put a lot of game on there. Man, the biggest change I always struggle with is the consistency. That is being consistent on anything. Like for instance, and that's one of the fatal flaws that a lot of people have sometimes. It's like you ain't gotta tell me that you gotta tell me that I'm talented. I know I'm talented. I know I'm talented in a lot of different areas. Not even I lose it is like I'm not very consistent, and that's a self-aware assessment that I've made about myself. And it's like I'm like that game give you a couple plays, amazing plays and things like that, and then all of a sudden get bored, and and then you might not see him make a splash play again, and that's just because um my I don't know like my work ethic in certain areas I wish was better. The thing about it is like I always think about this. Whenever I think about this assessment of myself, it's like fuck your dreams. Like fuck your dreams. Do what pays the bills, or that's what in Charlemagne's book, fuck your dreams, or do what pays the bills, or do what you're good at, and cut all the bullshit. There's a lot of things that I'm good at, but I don't really do, and I kind of focus on a lot of things that I'm not great at. You feel me? Instead of accentuating what I'm really talented in, I get really bored and I just kind of want to move on to the next thing, and it's crazy. It's you know, and that's cost me a lot. You know, it's cost me a lot in just life in general. You know, relationships with people. You know, my inconsistency on a lot of stuff, being self-reflective, is very, 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 very detrimental. You know, it's been detrimental. Um, One of the things that I'm really and I'm putting this all on way. I'm very consistent at being inconsistent, you know. But I've been able to accomplish like long-term things. So, like for instance, you know, I finished school, and you know, I got, you know, for a lot of people, you know, that's hard to do because I made a commitment to those things, and I actually went and did it. You know, and I wish I had that same drive for a lot of other things. You know, I worked for, you know, corporations and stuff like that for a long time, and that's, you know, like, you know, 13 years, you know, 7 years, you know, and I'm still relatively young. But anyways, you know, a lot of people, I kind of, in a way, I'm a creature of habit. So I adapt well with change, but I don't really initiate that much change. And it usually takes a traumatic event for me to completely change. You know what I'm saying? It's usually like a loss or anything like that. Boy, triple BLACK. And and you know, one of the biggest things that when you go through a traumatic experience is you do have to embrace that you're not perfect. You don't have all the answers. You know, there's mental health uh, hurdles that even the best of the best go through. And, you know, especially with men, a lot of times, you know, there's such a stigma that's attached to mental health. You know, you know, you don't understand, like, there's like the best of the best people that you see, whatever, they go through some traumatic experiences. Maybe it's not in the public, maybe you don't know about it. You know, there's a guy right now probably that has everything, is what perceived by having everything. He might have a beautiful wife, he might have a mansion, he might have all the money in the world, he might have kids, but he could probably be going through the worst case of depression that anybody is going through. And it's like a cycle of life. There's always going to be darkness. You know, it's never, you can't go without darkness. You can't go without a hurricane, without those type of things. And the thing about it is like, some people end up losing everything because they have one of those periods of darkness, but yet they can't talk about it. They can't let nobody know about it because it happens. It really, really, really happens. You know what I'm saying? It really happens. And the thing about darkness, it doesn't exempt anybody. You know, you're not exempt if you got money. You're not exempt if you're looking. If you're not exempt if you're successful, you're not exempt. None of those things. It matter of fact, when you have all those material things, when you do have all those material things that are in your life, that magnifies the darkness. You know, that magnifies the darkness, man. It like, and some people lose everything. They lose every single thing. You know, a lot of times they do, and the thing is it's not just losing the material possessions. They lose themselves. You know, they facade. Like, you know, like you'll have a man, and I'm just talking about men in general, that have a 1,000-pound gorilla on their back every single day. They have a 1,000-pound gorilla on their back every single day, but they have to get up, go that monkey on their back doesn't exist. You see that shit in sports all the time. You know, you see for instance, like LeBron. You know, LeBron has everything, but you don't think that he has that big gorilla on his back. He's the GOAT or whatever every single day. Like you see Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, when in the biggest thing that I took about The Last Dance is how human Michael Jordan is. You know, this is the greatest basketball player of all time. You know, and that's by popular opinion. But have you seen all the trials and tribulations in that documentary? That's what we know about. They didn't even talk about his divorce. They didn't even talk about that part. They didn't even talk about, you know, like really like, you know, oh my God, they didn't even talk about his divorce. You know how he had the biggest divorce case in history. You know, $168 million. So, anyways, man, this guy, I gotta work, man. But, I'm gonna holler at you guys. Make sure you guys like and share that.
Implying that our graduates are fat and lazy, disparaging teachers, attacking the mental